Hello, in today's class let us take up a chapter from biology class 9, natural resources. You know that Earth is the only planet on which life exists. Now what are the various factors that are present on Earth that makes it suitable for life to exist? Let us discuss those various factors. Earth is the only planet on which life exists. Okay. Various factors that are responsible for existence of life are, there are 5 factors that causes life to exist on Earth. Is presence of air. Presence of air. Second factor, presence of water. Third factor is favorable temperature is present on Earth. Okay, favorable temperature. And fourth one is presence of protective ozone layer. You know that there is a protective ozone layer on Earth. We'll study more about it later in this chapter. And the last one is availability of natural resources. So because of these 5 factors, it is possible for life to exist on Earth. Since this chapter deals with the natural resources, so let us study about natural resources. What are the natural resources? So before we dive into natural resources, let us first write down the definition of natural resources. Okay. These are the materials. Natural resources are the materials which are necessary for life. Okay, natural resources. The materials necessary for life and is available in the natural environment. It is not made by man. It is not manufactured by man, but rather it is present naturally in the environment. So that is known as natural resources. Are natural resources. Okay. So these resources meet the basic needs. Okay, meet the basic needs and also provide security, and it also provides security and comfort. Okay, and comfort to mankind. Okay, so it also provides security and comfort to mankind. Now let us talk about the types of natural resources. Types of natural resources. There are 2 types of natural resources, exhaustible and inexhaustible. Okay, 2 types. First one is exhaustible natural resource and the other is inexhaustible natural resource. So from the name itself, exhaustible भनेको चाहिँ exhaust भनेको चाहिँ सक्नु, so it can get finished. So these have every chance of getting exhausted. Every chance of exhausted. Okay, these have every chance of getting exhausted, and that means these are limited. Okay, these are limited. Okay, again these are again of two types. They are again of two types. Again of two types. First one is renewable exhaustible natural resource. Okay, renewable resource. Now renewable भनेको चाहिँ these can be regenerated. Regenerate भनेको फेरि बनिनु सक्छ. These can be regenerated or recycled within a reasonable time. Within a reasonable time. Regenerate हुन्छ भन्दामै लामो millions and millions of years लाग्यो भने त त्यो त भएन नि त. Okay, so यो चाहिँ के हुन्छ, within a reasonable time it can be regenerated or recycled, and if we use it judiciously it can be made to last forever. Okay, so it can be made to last indefinitely. Indefinitely means forever, भनौं न, indefinitely or for a very long time if used judiciously. Judiciously भनेको होस गरेर एकदम कम्ती मात्रामा, ठिकैको मात्रामा मात्रै चलायो भने चाहिँ these resources can be made to last indefinitely. What are the examples of renewable resources? Groundwater, soil fertility, wildlife, vegetation, all these are examples of renewable resources. Okay. So let us write down the examples of renewable resources. Example is groundwater, okay, groundwater, wildlife, soil fertility, okay, soil fertility, natural vegetation, all these are examples of renewable resource. These can be regenerated or recycled. The second type of exhaustible natural resource these are non-renewable resource. Okay, non-renewable means these cannot be regenerated or recycled. You बनिँदैन भनिबडी. Okay, बन्यो भने it will take millions and millions of years. So we can say that it cannot be regenerated or recycled. Okay, and secondly, these, even if we use this judiciously, it will get finished one day. Okay, so we'll get exhausted whether or not used judiciously. अर्को चाहिँ होशियारसँगले चलायो भने चाहिँ renewable चाहिँ it can be made to last forever, but even if you use this judiciously, होस गरेर चलाउँदाखेरि पनि एक न एक दिन चाहिँ यो सकिन्छ. सो त्यस्तोलाई चाहिँ हामी भन्छौं non renewable resource. Example of non renewable resources are fossil fuels, minerals. Okay, so fossil fuels, minerals. Okay. Minerals. Fossil fuels means fossil fuels like coal, petrol, all these are fossil fuels. So यो चाहिँ judiciously चलाए भने पनि it will get exhausted one day. And one thing, these non-renewable resources are abiotic. Are abiotic. Abiotic means these are non-living. So minerals bio, fossil fuel bio, your non-living huncha. Whereas these renewable resources can be both biotic and abiotic. Biotic and abiotic. Okay, so biotic means living, abiotic means non-living. So we'll deal more about biotic and abiotic later in this section. Each section we'll deal with it. Just I hope you understood what is the difference between renewable and non-renewable. यो चाहिँ living र non-living दुईटै हुन्छ. जस्तो यहाँ तपाईले हेर्नु भयो भने natural vegetation, wildlife, these are biotic. Groundwater, soil fertility, these are abiotic. Okay, so यो चाहिँ दुईटै biotic abiotic हुन्छ. यो चाहिँ खाली abiotic हुन्छ. Now the second type of natural resources is inexhaustible. Okay, inexhaustible natural resources. These have no chance of getting exhausted. Inexhaustible भनेपछि सकिँदैन. These have no chance of getting exhausted. Okay, that means these are unlimited. So what are the inexhaustible natural resources? भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ example solar energy, energy that comes from the sun, wind energy, okay, wind energy, hydro power, okay, power of tides, all these are inexhaustible natural resources. Okay, now let us move on to the components of natural resources. के components हुन्छ natural resources मा? Okay, there are two components of natural resources, that is biotic component and abiotic component. Okay, so दुईटा प्रकारको component हुन्छ. Biotic, as I told you earlier, these are living components, and abiotic, these are non-living components. Okay, natural resources have two components. First one is abiotic. Let us first write down abiotic or abiotic component, or these are also known as physical resources. Okay, these are also known as physical resources. So abiotic means these are non-living component, non-living component. Example would be here water, soil, light and temperature. All these are examples of abiotic or physical components. Second is biotic component, or it is also known as biological resources. Biological resources. Okay, biological resources. Okay, now biological resources or biotic components are living components. These are living components. Example would be plants and animals. So these are the components of natural resources. Now in this chapter we'll study in detail about the abiotic resources, that is air, water and soil. So let us first start with air. Okay, air, the breath of life, without which we cannot survive. Okay. Do you know what is air? We have already studied in our junior classes. Definition air ko. Air is a mixture of gases. Air is a mixture of gases. Not only gases, it also has water vapors. Right? Water vapors. And there are also suspended dust particles. There will be smoke also, pollens. All these make up air. Okay. Now what are the gases that are present in air? So the various gases that are present in air are, first is nitrogen. Everybody knows it. Nitrogen, it is the highest percentage gas ko हावामा सबसे ज्यादा मात्रामा कुन चाहिँ ग्यास हुन्छ भन्दा नाइट्रोजन. ओके, सो व्हाट इज इट्स परसेंट? 78.09%. okay, second one is oxygen, very very vital for life. Right? So यो कति पर्सेंट हुन्छ भन्दा चाहिँ 20.93%. then comes third is carbon dioxide. This is also an important gas. Its percentage is 0.03. कति कम्ती हुन्छ carbon dioxide है. And finally there are noble gases. Noble gases means helium, neon, argon. We've already studied about noble gases. So this is 0.97%. Okay, so these are the components of air. Air भित्र चाहिँ यो चीज बीजहरु हुन्छ. Okay, now air, it is an important inexhaustible natural resource. Okay, important inexhaustible means which cannot get exhausted. सकिँदैन यो. Is an important inexhaustible natural resource. Now you know that our earth is surrounded by air. हैन, हाम्रो earth चाहिँ is surrounded by air, and that air forms an envelope or a blanket around the earth, and that blanket of air is known as atmosphere. So atmosphere or air forms an envelope around the earth, which is known as atmosphere. Now how do we define atmosphere? Atmosphere is thick, protective, transparent layer of air that envelops the earth. Okay, it envelops the earth. So it is a multi-layered atmosphere. चाहिँ multi-layered हुन्छ नि, multi-layered a blanket that surrounds the earth. Okay, and it is how it is held to earth भन्दा चाहिँ it is held to earth due to the earth's gravity. Earth को gravitational force हुन्छ that pulls that atmosphere and does not allow the air to escape. Okay, so अब हामी solar system मा not earth is not the only planet. अरु planets पनि त छ नि, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter हैन, and so on. So यो planets हरु मध्येमा यो solar system मा 8 वटा planets मा Earth is the only planet on which life exists. हाम्रो छेउछेउको planet हेर्यो भने Earth को छेउको planet को चाहिँ एउटा Venus, Mars है. Both these planets, there is no life on this planet. Okay, यो Venus र Earth Venus र Mars मा life छैन. Now when we study or when we look at the atmosphere of Venus and Mars, what is found out is that the atmosphere of Venus and Mars is made up of 95 to 97% carbon dioxide gas. So hamroma chai atmosphere ma there is so many gases: oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, noble gases. So many things are present in the atmosphere of the earth, but in the atmosphere of Venus and Mars only one gas is present in maximum amount, and that is carbon dioxide. Okay, so carbon dioxide matrai cha, oxygen haru chaina. That is why life is impossible in Venus and Mars. Okay, the atmosphere of Venus and Mars has 95 to 97% carbon dioxide gas. So life cannot exist on this planet. Okay, now even in our earth also carbon dioxide is formed continuously. On earth, carbon dioxide is formed by two main processes. Okay, carbon dioxide gas is formed by two processes. That is, first is due to respiration of all the living organisms. Respiration of all living organisms. When all the living organisms on earth respire, they give out carbon dioxide. And secondly, it is formed by combustion or burning of fuels. जब पनि हामीले कुनै पनि फ्युल्सहरु बाल्छौं त्यति बेला कार्बन डाइअक्साइड ग्यास इज रिलीज्ड इन्टु द एटमोस्फियर. हेर्नुस् है, संसारभरिको सबै प्राणीहरुले रेस्पिरेसन गर्दाखेरि दे गिभ आउट कार्बन डाइअक्साइड. So there are so many plants and animals, millions and millions of plants and animals that are present on earth. उनीहरुले त कति बेसी कार्बन डाइअक्साइड रिलीज गर्छ. Plus when we burn fuels, that time also carbon dioxide is released. But on earth, the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is more or less fixed. It is around 0.03%. Now what is the cause? Etro basic carbon dioxide बनिँदैछ नि, तर किन अर्थमा चाहिँ कम्ती मात्रामा मात्रै छ atmosphere मा carbon dioxide भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ because on earth carbon dioxide is used for two processes. Okay, so this carbon dioxide is used during first is when it is used by, let us write down by, it is used by green plants. Okay, green plants. When do the green plants use carbon dioxide? During photosynthesis. When they prepare food, they take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen gas. So green plants used this during photosynthesis. And secondly, marine animals. What are marine animals? The animals that live in the sea. Okay, sea ma basne animals la marine animals bhancha. So marine animals use carbonates that are dissolved in water. Use carbonates dissolved in water to form shells. अब तपाईले कति देख्नु भएको छ, सीमा बस्ने एनिमल्सहरुको प्राय बडीमा शेल हुन्छ, बाहिरपट्टि हार्ड कभरिङ हुन्छ नि है, शेल्स हुन्छ. सो त्यो शेल्स कसरी बनिन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ these animals they use carbonates. The carbon dioxide is dissolved in water to form carbonate. Okay, so त्यो carbonate चाहिँ use गरेर they make the shells. So atmosphere ma bhako आदि plants ले use गर्दिन्छ, आदि त्यो it is dissolved in water and then that is used to form the shells. So because of these two processes, the percentage of carbon dioxide remains more or less fixed in the environment. Okay, in the Earth's environment. Okay. Now let us move on to the importance of atmosphere. We were talking about the atmosphere. So what is the importance of atmosphere? Atmosphere ko duita काम छ. First, it helps in climate control, and secondly, atmosphere prevents the entry of harmful sun's radiation. Okay, so let us study about the importance of atmosphere. First, it helps in climate control. Okay, first ma chai climate control ma help garcha. How does atmosphere help in climate control? Bhandakheri chai the excessive heat and sun's rays are reflected into the space by water vapors, clouds and dust particles that is present in the atmosphere. So jati pani excess heat ta tyo abo reflect bhayo, so earth will have a favorable temperature. Okay, secondly, you know that air is a bad conductor of heat, so it maintains the average temperature of the earth. How? It prevents sudden increase in temperature during daytime. दिउँसो एकदमै suddenly temperature लाई increase हुनु दिँदैन atmosphere ले, and at night it prevents escape of heat into the outer space. So that's how the temperature remains more or less constant on earth. Okay, so अघि हामीले पढेको थियौ नि कतिवटा फ्याक्टर्सहरु छ जसले गर्दा चाहिँ अर्थमा लाइफ पोसिबल छ भनेर एउटा चाहिँ फेभरेबल टेम्परेचर भन्दै थियो. So that favorable temperature is brought about by the atmosphere. Okay, now second importance of atmosphere is it prevents the entry of harmful radiations. Now you know that we get different types of radiations from from the sun. We get different types of radiations from the sun, out of which ultraviolet radiations are harmful to all the living organisms. Okay, so the ozone layer that is present in the atmosphere will prevent the entry of these harmful ultraviolet radiations from the sun. So the ozone layer prevents the entry of harmful ultraviolet radiations of the earth. The ozone layer prevents the entry of harmful ultraviolet radiations into the earth. Okay, so this is the importance of atmosphere. Okay, now let us talk a little about wind. Okay, now what is the difference between air and wind? Air ko kura garदैछ. Now I've introduced another term to you, that is wind. So अब wind र air मा के difference छ भन्नुस् त? Does anyone know? So air भनेको चाहिँ it is a mixture of gases and it is stagnant, but wind is moving air. When air moves, that is called wind. Okay, so let us study a bit about wind. moving air is called wind. अब हावा मुभ गर्यो भने चाहिँ त्यसलाई चाहिँ विन्ड भन्छ अरे. कसरी चाहिँ मुभ गर्छ भन्दाखेरि various factors that cause movement of wind, that cause movement of wind are के रहेछ त भन्दाखेरि फर्स्ट फ्याक्टरमा आउँछ differences in heating and cooling of land and water. Okay, land र water मा differences in heating and cooling हुन्छ. So we've already studied about this in our previous classes, but let us revise a bit. Suppose this is the land, right? You suppose you say samudra, right? This is water. Okay, so this is land and this is water. यहाँ पनि म same draw गर्दैछु. Land and this is water. Now let us talk first about day and then night. So day ma when the sun shines, what happens is sun बाट अघि मैले भने different radiations आउँछ. त्यसमा one of the radiations is infrared radiations. These infrared radiations will heat up the earth. Okay, or whatever comes in the path of the infrared radiation, that is infrared radiations heats it up. Okay, so यहाँनिर sun बाट infrared radiations आयो, land मा पनि आयो, water मा पनि आयो. Now both of them start to get heat. Okay, but land or water ma different sunny heating ma. One gets heated faster, the other gets heated slower. So land अलिक छिटो तात्तिन्छ, water अलिकति ढिलो. So this gets heated faster, this gets heated slower. Now when the land gets heated, the air above the land also gets heated. So यहाँको air पनि heat भएपछि when air is heated, it rises upwards. Right? So when air rises upwards here, a low pressure is created. Okay? यहाँ चाहिँ फेरि there is high pressure. So you know that air moves from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure. This is how wind is generated. This is movement of wind. So high pressure देखिनको low pressure मा यसरी wind generate भयो. Now let us talk about night. So at night there will be no sun, so no heating will take place. तर cooling त हुन्छ नि त, किन दिउँसो heat भएको छ, अब cool हुन थाल्छ. Now जसरी heating even हुँदैन, बराबरी हुँदैन, त्यस्तो cooling पनि बराबरी हुँदैन. जुन चाहिँ चीज छिटो heat हुन्छ, त्यो छिटो सेलिन्छ पनि, cool पनि छिटो हुन्छ. So here which one will get cooled faster? Land will get cooled faster. Water is warm. Pani tatai छ. So the air above the water gets heated. Okay? And then when air gets heated, it rises upwards. Again, here a low pressure is created. अब अघि land मा low pressure create भएको थियो, अब water मा low pressure create भयो. So यहाँ त high pressure छ. So wind will move from region of low pressure to a region of high pressure. Okay, so this is how wind is formed. Okay, यो चाहिँ भयो differences in heating and cooling of land and water. Also, land र water मा मात्रै difference in heating and cooling हुँदैन. अर्को चाहिँ different places of the earth मा पनि different uneven heating हुन्छ. That also creates this pressure differences and then movement of wind huncha. So second is uneven heating of land in different places of the earth. In different places of the earth. So land पनि land मात्रै हुँदा पनि कोही ठाउँ छिटो तात्तिन्छ, कोही ठाउँ ढिलो तात्तिन्छ. So the area that is around the equator, it gets direct sunlight. So त्यो एरिया जहिले छिटो तात्तिन्छ नि त. अरु जग्गा चिसो हुन्छ. So त्यो जग्गा तात्तेपछि त्यहाँ low pressure create हुन्छ because of rise of air. So wind from different directions will move into the equator. Okay, so that causes the movement of wind. Third is the vaporization and condensation of water vapors. Vaporization and condensation of water vapor. Fourth one is rotation of the earth. Rotation of the earth. And finally, fifth one is the high mountain ranges in the path of the wind. We've already discussed these two factors. These three factors need not be discussed in your class. This is not in the scope of your class. खाली यति मात्रै याद राख्नुस् यो पाँचवटा फ्याक्टर्स छ त्यसमा यो दुईटा त we understood in detail, यो तीनटा चाहिँ we did not understand in detail. Okay, so let us stop today's class here, and tomorrow's class will study about air and its pollution, air pollution.